Param Vijayate Śrī Kṛṣṇa Sankirtanam, total world victory of Hare Krishna. My name is Sitapati Das.
And my name is Danna Devi.
Welcome to Bhagavad-gita as it is, 2:30. Let's go. Bhagavad-gita, the Song of God, as it is, chapter 2. Sankhya Yoga, text number 30. Dehī nityam avadhyo dehe sarvasya bhārata tasmāt sarvāṇi bhūtāni tvam śocitum arhasi. Dehī,
the owner of the material body,
nityam,
eternally,
avadhyaḥ,
cannot be killed.
ayam,
This soul
dehe,
and the body
sarvasya,
of everyone,
Bharata,
or descendant of Bharata.
tasmāt,
Therefore,
sarvāṇi,
all
bhūtāni,
living entities that are born,
na
never
tvam,
yourself to
śocitum,
lament,
arhasi.
deserve.
Translation.
O descendant of Bharata, he who dwells in the body is eternal and can never be slain. Therefore you need not grieve for any creature.
Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. You want to do this purport?
Okay.
Go on.
The Lord now concludes the chapter of instructions of the immutable spirit soul. In describing the immortal soul in various ways, Lord Krishna establishes that the soul is immortal, and the body is temporary. Therefore, Arjuna, as a kṣatriya, should not abandon his duty out of fear for that his grandfather and teacher Bhīṣma, right? Bhīṣma and Droṇa will die in the battlefield. In the battle, sorry. In the authority of Śrī Kṛṣṇa, one has to believe that there is a soul different from the material body, not that there is no such thing as soul, or that living symptoms develop at a certain stage of material maturity, resulting from the interactions of chemicals. Though the soul is immortal, violence is not encouraged, but at the time of war, it is not discouraged when there is actual need for it. That need must be justified in terms of the sanctions of the Lord and not capriciously. Yeah.
Capricciosamente.
Yeah, capricciosamente. Yeah.
Capricciosamente. Okay. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Śrī Gurave Namaha. Alright, let's have a look at the changes. O descendant of Bharata, he who dwells in the body can never be slain. Previously, he who dwells in the body is eternal and can never be slain. Therefore you need not grieve for any living being. Previously, therefore you need not grieve for any creature. Purport stays exactly the same. Translation has changed. And here we don't see... the pronoun is not meant to be reflexive. Do you know how many people need to hear that? A lot. Especially people who work in recruiting. I spent 3 years as a recruiter. And for some reason, recruiters in Australia, a lot of them are actually from England. And English people and English dialects are in there, but they'll say, you know, yourself. You know, so then, you know, we'll send the results through to yourself, and then, but it's no reflexivo. I remember learning reflexive verbs in Spanish. It was like, me baño. I wash myself. So, you know, I will send it to yourself. It's like, what? It's like in Spanish you would say, a ti.
Mismo?
A ti te mando.
A ti te mando, yeah. A ti te mando tu carta.
Okay, yeah, I can't even make an example in Spanish that shows how there's no equivalent. Anyway, it's not meant to be. Therefore, you, tvam, you. It's funny because tvam and tva, two, second person, tvam, you. So you and two, you know the number 2? And you? Yeah. Same thing. But anyway, that's some linguistic etymology. Okay. ¿No te gusta? A mí me encanta etimología. La lingüística. 20 or 30.
Bueno, estas horas del día, it's 8:40 p.m.
Gotcha. That was yesterday. Here we go. So Srila Prabhupada's original manuscript says, O descendant of Bharata, the owner of the body is always unfit for being killed in all bodies, and as such you do not deserve to lament for any one of all the living entities. O descendant of Bharata, the owner of the body is always unfit for being killed.
For being in all bodies.
No, it's always unfit for being.
Being.
And then it says...
I-N.
It says being. It looks like it says being killed.
No. It's I-N. I-N-A-L-L bodies. Somebody just
No, that's in all bodies, but arriba aquí está escrito being killed.
Oh my.
Yeah. Is always unfit for being killed in all bodies. The owner of the body is always unfit for being killed in all bodies, and as such you do not deserve to lament for any one of all the living entities. Okay. The Lord now concludes the chapter of instructing about the immutable spirit soul, beginning from ashocha number tvam up to dehī nityam avadhyaḥ.
Huh?
He is described about the immortal soul in various ways.
It's gone.
Hmm?
That part is gone.
That part is gone, yeah.
Okay.
And in every step he has tried to establish that the soul is immortal, but the body is temporary. There, Arjuna, as a kṣatriya, should not have deviated from his duty out of fear that his grandfather or teacher, Bhīṣma and Droṇa, would die in the battle. On the authority of Śrī Kṛṣṇa, one has to believe, therefore, that there is a soul different from the material body, and one has not got to believe that there is no such thing as the soul, but the living symptoms develop at a certain stage of material maturity as the interaction of chemicals. The soul being immortal, violence is not encouraged herewith, but at the same time war is not discouraged when there is actual need for it.
That is justified.
That something.
No, that is, but the song I just put it like a...
No, this here means there's a word that gets inserted. Esta señal es como una flecha.
Yeah, that. No, no es... Oh my gosh. Why didn't you just put it underneath?
I don't know what that says.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, justified in terms of the sanction of the Lord and not capriciously.
Yeah, it's quite hard.
Okay, so yeah, this is the end of this Gita Upanishad, this Upanishadic section, which talks about the soul. The Upanishads are an interesting. They talk about, this is where Atma, Paramatma, Brahman, these kind of things are described in detail. Goes into the nature of the self and the soul, and you're not the body, you're this transcendent kind of energy. Then there's a whole other class of things which is about Dharma Shastra, which is about doing the right thing and going to the heavenly planets. So there are those are almost like two different streams. And you could, if you were going to invent something, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has in his Śrī Kṛṣṇa Samhita, the Aryans invade from the north and they bring with them this kind of Aryan culture, and they encounter these yogis who do meditation and have this deeply developed kind of introspection, which is why you find like the Viking cultures, they worship the demigods and stuff, and similarly the Aryans as well, but the Vikings don't have the same developed introspective type thing. And Max Muller, in his six philosophical systems of India treatise, he says it's because India was such an ideal location where you can live in the temperate zone without having to do much. You just sleep under a tree, eat some fruits, and you can meditate and just think for a long time.
Yeah.
And you don't have armies going back and forth like you do in Europe, because for them to get in there, they got to go over the Himalayas, or they got to somehow get around by the ocean. So that whole part of India in there is very peaceful. It doesn't have marauding armies going across it like Poland and, you know, Russia and areas like that, raiding Vikings. No, nothing like that. Very peaceful. Live under the tree, eat the fruit. And that's how you end up with things like, as in Bhagavad-gita, it says, nasato vidyate bhavo, nabhavo vidyate sata, ubayo api drishtontas, tvanayos, tattva-darshabhi, that of the non-existence there is no duration, and of the eternally existing there is no change. This the seers of the truth have concluded by studying the nature of both. And sitting there under the tree and just contemplating. And that's available in that inner part of India. So when the Aryans invade from the north, they bring their demigod worship, the horses, the fire yagyas and everything, and they encounter these people who are, in the midsection, and then they mash these two things up together, the Upanishadic thing and then the kind of the Rig Veda type thing, and they become mashed together and they form the Vedic culture as we receive it today. That's one historical narrative about it that Bhaktivinoda Thakur offers in his Śrī Kṛṣṇa Samhita. And he says it's not necessarily meant to be taken as a truth, but it can be useful for especially Western educated people to think about it this way. And here we see this first part of the Bhagavad-gita chapter 2 is the Upanishadic wisdom up to this point, and then after here it's going to switch into like doing your duty, the kṣatriyas. And you know that the Vedanta Sutra, it starts off with the question about which of these two things is actually the conclusion of all of this, because it looks like it's confusing because there seem to be two different presentations here. There's this Upanishadic presentation, which says that the goal of life is liberation, and that you're not the body, you're the spirit soul, and you should achieve some kind of liberation from samsara in the material world.
Right.
But there's this whole other thing here, which is telling us that we should go to the heavenly planets and drink soma rasa, and we should perform our duty and do yagyas and things in order to achieve the heavenly planets. So which one is it? That's the first question in the Vedic canon, and the answer to that question is the first sutra of the Vedanta Sutra. It says atato brahma jigyasa. Therefore, the answer is inquire into Brahman. That is the actual point. And even though that's the very first verse, and it's the first verse of the Bhagavatam, which is the natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadyasya yaton vayadi taritash chartesh vabigaswarat, that's the beginning of the Bhagavatam. It actually begins with the conclusion of an argument that came before it, and that's the argument that came before it. Which of these two is the actual one? And Krishna kind of prefaced this Upanishadic knowledge with part of that. He said, Kutasva kajmelamidam vishame samupastitam anarya jushtam asvargyamakirtikaram Arjuna. Wherefrom have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the progressive values of life, an Aryan. They lead not to the heavenly planets, but to infamy. So he begins from the dharmic frame of going to the heavenly planets, doing your duty for that. Then he segues into this section about the soul, and now he's going to segue back out of that and back into doing your duty again, which is kind of connected with this idea of like going to the heavenly planets, going to Valhalla, you could say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in this verse it says that, he who dwells in the body, I mean, he just keeps, it's very repetitive.
Yeah.
But Prabhupada says that whatever is repeated, it means it's very important.
Yeah. It's for people to understand, to remember it. There's a research, like, if you give something to a person, something new, you have to actually repeat it, or the person has to do it 100 times before they remember it. Not just once.
Okay.
Yeah. So no wonder why, Krishna, he's the all-knower, and we are in Kali Yuga. 5 seconds, like, sorry, what did you just say?
Okay.
Even names, myself, I have to be like honest about that. People tell me their names, like, okay, and I repeat it twice, and then after a few seconds, oh my gosh, what was the name again? So yeah, I can tell, in Kali Yuga, our memory is just like completely a mess. Not everybody's like that, but compared to what it was in the previous yugas, we are just like complete degraded,
degenerate. I can't even remember anyone's phone number anymore. They were all memorized.
I used to do that as well when I work as travel in a travel industry,
Travel agent.
And because you have to remember the numbers to call the people that you wanna, the tour guides and the other owners, and to just get the groups together, you know, or the tour guide, hey, I want you to come. It's just like you get the phone, blah 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 blah. You type it and then off you go. But now I don't even remember your number.
I know. Why would you?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, it's quite a.
I barely remember my own number. That's it. I don't know anyone else's number.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I remember different things. I can remember Shastra and, you know, put my memory to that kind of stuff. People still do remember things. You know what people? You know what people remember? I realized this at some point.
Funny stories.
Gossip, yeah, but they also remember song lyrics.
They don't remember, or do they remember?
They do. They remember people singing songs all the time, you know?
I'm terrible at that. I remember the tune, and I start like
but
mumbling
you can
around.
kind of remember the chorus, right?
Yes, some of them, but you know, I can remember the tune of the music, but the lyrics, oh my gosh, Isabel is really good at remembering lyrics.
That's why Bhagavad-gita is made as a song. It's a song. It's a hit song. It's a pop song.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a song of God, Bhagavad-gita.
Yeah.
And there was one, so 100 times. Okay, so we'll have to remind our son 100 times to do his washing, and then he'll get it.
Yeah.
100 times, Kali Yuga.
Yep.
And there was one other thing I wanted to say about this, but I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, this. I've noticed from going through Bhagavad-gita this time, which is, I don't know how many times I've been through it in the last 25 years, but I just absolutely love it. I just can't stop. I love this. It's like the best album. You just listen to it over and over again. But this time through, I noticed this. Śocitum arhasi. Like this, you know, it's not only is it the soul, but it's also connected to this idea of that it's not worth. It's like, don't worry about a thing. It's not worth worrying about. Don't worry about it. Tvam śocitum arhasi. See? He said it twice, right? Twice.
Oh my gosh, you're...
Nainam śocitum arhasi. It's the third time. 3 times. Nanu śocitum arhasi. 4 times. That might be it.
Okay, maybe one more.
Śocitum. So he starts it off actually with this. It's kind of like a refrain. Nanu śochanti panditaha. At the beginning, that's how he kicks it off, and then he ends it. He lands it on that, and he has it in there 4 times. We're just about to get there. It'll be back at like dun, dun, dun. I can find it like this. Epic. Can't wait till our 72 Mac gets here. While speaking wise words, you are, here it is. 211, and this is where Prabhupada, in his original manuscript, the original, he says here that, see, and this got cut by both editors, beginning from ashochan anvashochas tvam up to dehī nityam avadhyaḥ, which ends with, of course, tvam śocitum arhasi. But he starts with ashochan anvashochas tvam. Nanu śochanti panditaha. The wise do not lament. And then he says 4 times, don't lament. It's not worthy of your lament. It's not worthy of your lament. It's not worthy of your lament. So he begins the section with this, and then he ends the section with this. Tvam śocitum arhasi. Begins with Nanu śochanti panditaha. The wise do not lament for this. The panditaha, the pundits, the intelligent, one who's learned. And he ends it with tvam śocitum arhasi. And he says it 4 times. So it's 5 times it's said in there.
Yeah.
In terms of repetition. Okay.
Do not lament. It's just your body, but still look after it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, the verse again. Śrī Bhagavan. No, not this one. I'm like, what? Śrī
Back
Bhagavan.
to the
I
11.
don't remember that. 30. So yeah, we're on verse 30. Okay. Dehī nityam avadhyo dehe sarvasya bhārata tasmāt sarvāṇi bhūtāni tvam śocitum arhasi.
O descendant of Bharata, he who dwells in the body is eternal and can never be slain. Therefore you need not grieve for any creature.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
The Master.
Param Vijayate Śrī Kṛṣṇa Sankirtanam. Total world victory of Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.